magically fix themselves now that Faker's back in the mid lane. So will be very telling, I think. This first game, we're all going to be looking kind of really closely at how things go.
This isn't StarCraft. You can't play everyone and control everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
So
unless you're Barrel.
Yeah. Bans coming out. Obviously moved on to a new patch as well, so we'll be excited to see if we get any of the newly buffed champions. LeBlanc still a staple ban. The shift changes not doing enough to cut that one out. And we'll see what we end up. Still got Rel open and available, which has been a really high priority. Kai'Sa as well has been an early first pick. Renekton, Poppy. Azir would be pretty good for Faker on his return. Actually, he's somewhat known for that champion, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I do like the Nico ban.
Oh.
And first pick, Aatrox. Okay.
This is what
This is T1's read.
to see. I think Aatrox is super broken, but Quantum Freak's happy to answer with Renekton and Rel. And this is the sort of top lane matchup you want, you know, Renekton against Aatrox, both top laners just going in. That is what you'd really like to see. But I think Aatrox will be such a monster if he is not kept down in this one. And obviously the Rel can be flexed into the jungle, so Quantum Freak's got a lot of options here.
Yeah.
T1 could lean into a Kai'Sa pickup, could lean into an Azir pickup, a lot of options in this situation. Looking towards a Jace, this might suggest a Maokai jungle pickup to pair with it. It's a really common pairing that we have seen. When one is taken, it's often the other as well.
Yeah. There are actually a lot of AP things, champs that are beginning to pop their heads up. You know, the Lilia with the Rod of Ages and Overheal builds coming in as well. But yes, it will be the Maokai that does come in. Totally forgoing the Kai'Sa priority here in this one so far.
Yeah, we got the Shiv changes. I'm not sure how much that is going to do to really hit it, because you can still, you know, auto the Shiv and then Q and clear up the way pretty effectively. Obviously, the lower health the minions are, the more damage your Q does with the execute. So it's looking like Quantum Freaks are still pretty fine with the Kai'Sa, and they will lock that one in. So a lot of dive threat from Quantum Freaks, and T1, I feel like the Jace Maokai adaptation was like, okay, you have these short range picks, you want to go in, you want to go hard, so we're going to pick like a long range poke champion mid and a very defensive jungler. So there's very much a difference between the styles of how these teams are going to team fight.
Yeah. I feel like any team in Korea, LCK or Challengers or otherwise, if Jace Maokai are available and they don't see any stronger picks, they will pick it together. And we have seen this a lot. As Braum is going to get banned, so no chance for the engaged Braum from Keria.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's clear that Quantum Freaks are recognizing, hey, you know, they are trying to play this more defensive style composition. Let's try and limit their pools. Alistair could be a decent ban as well. Obviously, great at playing Bouncer and a good matchup in the Rel. We'll see what they go for in this situation. They're actually going to go for Xayah, which, I mean, fits the theme of that sort of defensive play.
And Guma's a fantastic Xayah. I think it's also a good shout. It does mean that probably Keria plays Alistair for free. Unless you want to pick it up and play Kai'Sa Alistair, which can be a little bit dicey, but then you get both Rel and Alistair and you deny it away.
Yeah, I feel like they'll probably just save support till 5. You know, you already know the enemy mid pick, so take mid on 4, and then on 5 you can ensure counter picks. So if they do take Alistair, assume it's the Rel, you can flex the jungle, make it a little bit more uncomfortable. Azir going to be banned. Doesn't really fit with Quantum Freak's comp, but still just a super powerful champion. And to be honest, Azir kind of just does it all. The fact he can dive in as well makes him pretty potent.
Well.
You know,
okay.
Do you see that one pick and the 0% win rate? Do you know who did pick it before and has that 0% win rate?
It's this guy, actually.
It's this guy.
It's Bulldog, yeah.
He's like, look, it didn't work before, but they buffed the ultimate, so...
Yeah, and he was playing it into a very old counter matchup into Azir, which is banned, and already we know that Faker's playing Jace, almost definitely, unless he's going to play mid Aatrox. We'll have to wait and see what he does play into the Xerath. Zeri popping her head up a lot more nowadays, and that's going to be the pick here. Was considering the Lucian, maybe try to go for a stronger lane, but instead it's just Zeri Rakan.
Yeah, and I feel like, let me see, he's had some moments where he was unwilling to pick the Zeri. I think a big example was spring playoffs, where they were just banning it consistently and not leading on it. He has picked up a couple of times this season, but I think the pick makes sense here. Gives you a lot of fall through in those longer fights, and Quantum Freaks are opting to go for the Kai'Sa and Nautilus, a really strong duo, put that Rel in the jungle, so a lot of lockdown. And, you know, as much as Xerath is very much a sit-back, play defensive champion. His ult gains so much power on this patch. The way it works now is you get more shots than you used to, and also every subsequent shot you hit, if you hit a target, increases the damage of the next.
If you hit a target.
If you hit a target.
That thing is so hard to hit.
look how much lockdown there is on Quandon Freaks. Yeah. All they have to do is everyone dives in, you know, Andal presses R on Gumisi, and then when he's knocked up, you just pressure R like 3 times in a row really fast.
Yeah.
That should be the plan.
You know, if we're in the training tool, maybe that's, you know, something potentially you can do. But I don't think it's going to work out quite that well. But yes, they do have a lot of lockdown, and maybe the Xerath will work. And you are kind of trying to match the Jace with just longer range in the lane, which is going to be interesting.
I will say, I'm glad for Quandon Freak's sake that Ghost was nerfed. Could you imagine like Zeri with Ghost channeling over the whole fight, and you're trying to hit a single skill shot when she's at like Mach 11? Not ideal.
Yeah, this is Bull Mom, by the way. Bulldog's mom. That's yeah. Her ID is Bull Mom. And she's here all the time, always cheering on Bulldog and the boys.
Yeah, and he's bringing out the Xerath today, making it a little bit spicy. Attempt number 2 to make the pick work.
Yeah.
Best of luck. You know, I'm sure it'll be interesting.
It definitely will. This is a very fun first game we have. Faker is back, Bulldog's back on Xerath, and we are ready for a new patch. Let's jump out of the rip for game number 1. I feel like there was one person that was, you know, trying to make up for the little bit of a deficit, you know.
Maybe the Bull Mom?
Maybe it was. Maybe it was Bull Mom.
You know, rarely we get to appreciate Xerath skins, because rarely we get to see them, but that is like the astronaut one looks pretty cool.
Astronaut Xerath?
It looked like an astronaut sort of skin. Is that a skin? I'm going to be honest, I don't sort of keep tabs on skin releases, and I haven't seen Xerath in a while. So.
I mean, there's the Astro line. I mean, there's Astro Nautilus. We got the Maokai one.
Yeah, look, he has like a little helmet thing.
Yeah.
It does look like it, right?
I guess it is. We got the confirmation from, I believe, G-Sun, saying that, yeah, Astronaut Xerath. Didn't know it was a thing until today.
And now you know, and you can watch Bulldog pop off and then be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I can use that skin too.
Yeah.
Or he'll go
Could
to
happen.
6 and you'll be like, oh, never mind.
I'm willing to wait and see. I think, especially in the game he played against the Xerath, was a little bit of struggle street because either he was way too far away or he was in Emperor Divide Read, which you need to be in between those, absolutely. You need to be like kind of in range to ult and then follow up with some long range nukes, or, you know, not in melee range.
And I think there are a couple of things that happened over the season that have helped Xerath. Like we saw Lost Chapter now 1,100 gold, which obviously once you get that, you can just basically wave clear infinitely. And also the change to, you know, the mid wave syncing with the side waves means that roaming's less of a thing, and Xerath hates roaming. He just wants to sit mid. At most, he walks a little bit and then presses ult. So I think those things definitely a little bit helpful. And yeah, this matchup, very Renekton favored historically.
Yeah.
And I feel like the buffs that we saw Aatrox get, a lot of them were with like AD scalings and also damage to minions that increases with levels. So likely going to see the benefit of the buffs only really come in later in the game. So
yeah.
Expect Duda to have the edge early.
Absolutely. I mean, if you guys watched Challengers, you would have seen us cast the first game of Aatrox on this patch in Korea, and it kind of got boomed by a Renekton. Lane did get a lot of jungle attention, but especially early on, you can struggle a bit into this matchup, so we'll have to see if Zeus can pilot this one well enough to get to a late game stage where we can see the Aatrox big buffs. Now, they are big buffs, but we need to kind of get to that place where we can see them be a thing.
I think it helps when Dudu takes a tower hit just to balance it out a little bit. Also on the receiving end of some rough trades. So I think Zeus is doing pretty fine so far with how it's been going, but expectation is you are going to struggle. You can see he's already fallen down in terms of farm. about 5 behind.
Yeah, a little bit. Always, you know, obviously with Faker making his way back in here, want to check in and see how he's doing. We saw a lot of Jays from Poby.
And what a matchup to test your return, where you have to like dodge like constant skill shots.
Yeah.
Just really making sure it's like,
what did Bulldog mean by this? Is he like trying to put the pressure on? I don't think so, but yeah, it's funny you do mention it. Because not the easiest one. Xerath's support is quite popular in Korean solo queue, as the hook is going to land here onto Keria, but he is Rakan.
Ooh, that minion blocking the W. Definitely helping the trade, but realistically, I mean, I feel like it's difficult to find too much pressure here unless a mistake happens from T1. And really, it's going to come down to Youngjae. If Youngjae can make an impact on the lanes, because I think once you start layering that extra level of CC, that's where you really have kill pressure. But the Xerath Rakan, both so mobile, so hard to pin down.
Ooh, really nice double knockup does come in here as Root goes in onto Keria. Tons of damage already done into Taeyun.
Yeah, and
he's sitting on some biscuits.
Andel's hook was blocked there. Oh, dude. You're not supposed to take the tower hits.
He's really trying to put on that pressure, Ox. Really wants to win this lane, as now we got a gank coming in as Guma's going forward. Always has the wall to dash away from. Keria, though, doesn't really have a friend to dash towards, as it will be just Keria losing his flash. Nice gank down on the bottom side, but Taeyun did have to use his as well.
Yeah, and honestly, Taeyun's flash being burnt is a bit rough. Like, I think he just over-tunneled on the kill before he could get the angle there, but still a solid gank from Youngjae, and hopefully we get the opportunity to see that returned on and punish that lack of flash, but otherwise, you've kind of just traded 1-for-1 in terms of summoners.
Yeah, kind of a good idea, but the execution not quite there. Something we've seen many times from some of our weaker teams here in the LCK. Top lane seems to be going fine. Plated Steel Caps picked up early for Zeus. Iron Spike Whip for Dudu, who's trying to rush into the Gore Drinker, and then almost definitely Sterix, which did get buffed, as now big trades again in the top side, but yeah, Zeus is handling it just fine.
Yeah, he's holding up. That's all he really needs to do. Bulldog now has access to his ultimate, so I think if any skirmishes break out in the river, that's kind of the concern, is that like if you layer the CC of Youngjae, Andal, and then the ult on top, very quick just to blow someone up. So I think T1 need to be a little bit careful about that, especially since, you know, even Keria on the Rakan without flash is very squishy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes. Kind of used to seeing Guma on the Xayah. He's been playing quite a lot nowadays, but not Xayah this time around, so even less safety. As mid lane, just a farm fest so far. Kind of what you can expect. I mean, especially, you know, Murktrid's picked up here first for Faker. You want those tier 2 boots to dodge a lot of the skill shots, but also a lot of tenacity for just look at the enemy team. So Faker just wants that. And obviously with lethality Jace, you don't need like attack speed or anything like that. So just the right pickup here. Lost Chapter, as you mentioned, a bit cheaper, is picked up here for Bulldog.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting Shiv coming out from Gumisi still. It'll be interesting to see which champions are like adopting the Shiv and which are gonna like move over to Kraken Slayer. And whether like the Kai'Sa will still remain on like the AP build or transition a bit more to AD. I think here, soon it's gonna be Kraken for Taeyun. We'll see like the Navori come out second, which has been a pretty strong build, and obviously that flexibility is a big reason why she has been so powerful.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he still went for kind of the Shiv AP build, just because it is so strong. Even with you know, the Shiv changes, especially you get huge amounts of poke. You already have a Xerath, but then you're kind of indexing a bit more into the AP, so it takes a little bit of the power away from the Xerath. So I could definitely see both sides. We'll see where he does go in, as Dudu, speaking of which, is going into this fight. Zeus in a little bit of trouble, does go for the World Ender, still holding on to the flash, and he will have to use it here towards the end of the tree.
Yeah, and Dudu playing that really well, getting the initial dash and just staying right on top of Zeus, where you can't really benefit from any of the sweet spots or create distance. Now, T1 starting up this Hextech Dragon, but with Quantum Freak's jungle on the top side, should be able to get it pretty uncontested, and it'll just be a trade of objectives on the opposite side of the map.
Top lane, a little bit of an issue at the moment. Already a plate going the way of Dudu, and he was taking an aggressive trade there and gets the win on that one. Youngjae gets the Rift Herald, as you mentioned. So definitely see a world where you could look to drop it in bot, try to get the Kai'Sa even farther ahead and try to push this area away, or you could just try to double down on the top lane lead that you already have.
Yeah, I think honestly that would make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I think mid tower could also be a good one, but I guess we'll just see how it plays out. But
going on in, but Andal is here, and Faker extremely fast.
With the fancy feet.
Yeah, he does have phase rush and tier 2 boots, so he just runs in. He's like, oh, okay, now I'm running out.
How broken is movement speed?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good stat, yeah.
Especially to like skillshot champions. Can't complain. Yeah, I think... Oh, Dudu looking again for heavy trade.
Yeah, the root gonna miss as well. It hits the Q3, but Dudu still ambling forward. Here is Owner gonna flash onto the right side of this one. Is Dudu in a bit of trouble, but a very nice Magnet Storm trying to save his top laner. Is Youngjae with the flash. Easily comes in. Owner picks up first blood. And now Youngjae is just on the run. He's not gonna be able to get away from this root either, as pretty tanky with the bombies, but still the advance comes in, and that is a kill given over to the Aatrox.
And perfect timing for Owner to turn up. No ult from Dudu meant that he was super low in HP, couldn't pop that ultimate for the extra health and go back in. And the damage from the sweet spots from Zeus is just disgusting. And that's the thing, you hold them in place with the Maokai, you hit the sweet spot, and it was just doing a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, and it immediately, like in one play, shores up any issues you had in the top lane.
Yeah, I think Zeus will be fine now. And flash here to try and get towards his jungler. But Owner actually saves the root here, gets the lockdown, and then that sweet spot there just doing so much. And Youngjae as well, looks like he's going to be able to get out. But we get the final root coming through. And again, this Aatrox, he has like 3 longswords. That's all he has. He's doing so much damage.
Well, he's got more than that now. He has, what, a total of 5 built into various different items. And, yeah, I mean, again, like, this Aatrox now is in such a wonderful spot. Is going to be going into the Duskblade, no doubt, and having a nice amount of fun with this one. But let's see. We do have the Leandry's picked up for Bulldog, so he's picked up his first item very early on as well.
Yeah, also going for the early blue trinket, which can help when setting up your ultimate. But I think Quantum Freaks really need this Herald to do a lot, because they're not going to have the most proactive mid. As much as they have proactive tools and the rest of it, like moving Bulldog around is going to be really hard. So I think having impact with Heralds will make a big difference. And the fact that you've lost your entire lead on the top lane isn't going to feel good. We have Dragon in a minute 45 as well. Maybe they could throw it down mid for the Dragon spawn, try and push T1 away. I think especially because with the Maokai, with the Demonic Embrace, T1 getting set up on an objective is going to make it really hard to force them out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an issue, as here it is, Rift Herald in mid. We do have the Drake in a minute and a half, so not exactly the timing for that, but
I guess it's probably close to time now as well. Drake and Herald will take it at the same time, right?
So Rel is going to get full gold for the plate.
Yeah, but Youngjae is building Sunfire, so kind of based?
Based on what?
Based on building Sunfire.
Oh, okay. I see. I didn't get it. Thank you, Ox.
No problem.
Youngjae, I feel for him. He's trying to, be very proactive with this Rel, and it does have so much gank potential going in now. He's got the Xerath as well. Look at that extra damage coming in from the ult, and it takes 3 people, but they take out the Aatrox pretty easily there. No flash, the World Ender just burned through.
Yeah, that's a strategy. Just CC them and let Xerath spam R on top of them. It's a 2-step plan, and it's that simple. They made it work. I feel like Quantum Freaks took a bit of time to really get plays going, but nice that they've given a bit of additional help over to Dudu there. And we saw Zeus actually build a clip and go, no, I want the Duskblade. That's the correct option.
Good choice. Good choice. So
yeah, he just doesn't get to do much.
Yeah. Just 100 to 0.
I will say, just the damage he's doing with these Qs, it's really something else. I feel like we're gonna have a moment where in a team fight, it's like the Shy screenshot against G2.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a moment like that at some point, where he just like one-shots 3 people from Quantum Freak single-handedly, and T1 are really heavily committed to this Dragon. Quantum Freak's just not interested in contesting it, and we actually see Zeus go for a bit of a proxy farm to deny Dudu's push there.
Yeah, and you know why they're not contesting it? Because instead of 1 silly Infernal Drake, they won 4 Cloud Drakes.
Oh, true.
They heard, they know, oh, movement speed OP.
Yep.
We need that extra movement speed. The Cloud Drake's going to be stacked up here.
Imagine 4 Cloud Drakes, you're trying to hit a Shock Blast, and they can just like, you know, they can
dodge it with
run out of the way,
yeah,
start emoting, run back in front, and out of the way again. Like, that's how much time they'd have with all that movement speed.
Absolutely. Well, we do have the Shiv picked up here from Guma. Team did go for the Kraken Slayer, so it looks like we will be seeing that 80 focus build from him. The old Kai'Sa story, and especially when you have a Xerath, like someone who just does upfront huge amounts of AP damage, you don't necessarily need more. So,
yeah,
though the AP Kai'Sa is really strong, not going to like to do it.
Just because Dudu's like the only AD on the team apart from Taeyu, and I guess maybe that's the thought process in this one. But I think the AD build's still really fine. And then the Shiv, I mean, we covered it. It was covered at the start of the show by the space, but the wave clears, I think that was nerfed, actually got a buff on the attack speed. So
yeah,
still a decent item.
Owner just gonna elect to flash into this one, and to be honest, I mean, what we saw on the top wave, top lane rather, onto Zeus, maybe a good idea.
Yeah, good call, especially with the Nautilus ult on him. Like, I think he actually went like flashed out of vision, so it didn't follow through. But if that had connected, he'd been locked down with the Xerath firing on top. Wouldn't have been a fun time, I think, is a safe statement.
Well, I do have to say, it hasn't been a lot of action, but T1 have looked pretty comfortable, it feels like, with Faker back in here. We haven't had a real team fight just yet, so not ready to make a full judgment now, but let's see how this one is going to go. As we do have the teleport coming in here from Faker, we do have Quantum Freak trying to make a stand here, but again, this Maokai ultimate is just so strong. The stun goes in on a Faker. Now he's going to be caught up. 2 members in the front line there by the Rel, but the damage follow-up is not there. As Taeyun, Arjun of 5 people gets the kill. And now Zeus says, hey, look at me. I'm Aatrox. I'm back here in the first map here. As he is doing so much, Youngjae is going to be taken out as well. The Aatrox and the Zeri just do way too much in this first fight.
And it was actually such a beautiful catch onto Faker for Quantum Freaks, and he ends up going down, but so much is committed to make him go down. So many ultimates, Taeyun ulting in, have to burn both summoners to get away on a sliver of HP, and I just feel like Quantum Freaks, maybe with the return on Faker, focused a bit too much on him instead of the fight itself, and funneling into the Aatrox, not a great plan here. We see Andal actually gets like a beautiful grab here. It looked like Kerrio's going to block, but doesn't reach it in time. But like so much is burned here. And then Taeyun, this was just a wrong play. It was agreed for the kill, but you end up losing your entire health bar, and the rest of your team just gets decimated by this Aatrox who, you know, Aatrox with resets is great, but with Duskblade as well, it's the double whammy.
No, it's a problem. And fans here very, very happy. Things are going quite well for T1 here in the beginning of this game. It isn't the end of the world, as now we get a little bit of an angle here. Owner without flash, but not going to find it.
I do want to hone in a little bit on the people who got kills. So notably, it's the super broken Aatrox and the Zeri.
So is this a Xerox moment?
Maybe. It might just be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of an issue, right?
Just a bit.
We do have 3-1 and 3 now for Zeus. We do have a 201 CS, 2-0 and 2 quick blades finished at 18 minutes, Zeri.
Yeah.
He doesn't have flash though. That's
something.
Yeah.
And there's a dragon coming up in 50, so maybe Quantum Freak's like, right, they don't have flash. Let's get this Cloud Dragon and get towards the 4 Cloud Dragon Cloud Soul goal. Wink on.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they're even going to have a chance to do that, but we do have Guangdong Freaks set up in the bottom river, and, you know, again, they still do have immense lockdown. We've seen many times, you know, somebody's very fed and they just get locked down 100-0 and they die, and all of that gold just goes away. So you still have to be careful about how you will engage onto this one as T1.
I think as well, like, they can play a bit with the Xerath, the poke, get some damage down. And if someone is low, like, they don't need to commit so heavily to finish them off, right? Play for the fight, don't just play for the kills.
Well, in terms of poke, it does look like Taeyun has taken the brunt of it here in the beginning of this, as he is barely going to avoid that accelerated Chonk Blast. So there you go, second Rift Herald. This is the power of it. It allows you many times to pick up this third Dree.
And a big problem is if T1 get on the objective like they are now.
Andal, you're not allowed to be there. Okay. Blast Cone, thankfully, is going to save us from any action. I hate action.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad, yeah.
Quantum Freaks, I don't think you can fight this. They're going to give it a go. Faker's getting... Oh, yeah,
boy.
It's over. You can't. Leave, 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 leave.
Gets a huge cheer from the crowd. This Faker's doing damage. And yeah, they're just going to leave. Definitely the right call here.
Andal definitely shouldn't be here.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Blast Cone in that lane. He's just going to hook away and get to safety. So
now they're trying to defend the turret. They have a lot of wave clear with the Xerath. Yeah.
What do they mean by this?
That's what I was just thinking. I'm not sure, you know. I feel like it's generally speaking my job to interpret.
It kind of looks like Keria had like a invisible barrier around him. Like everything was getting blocked, you know?
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, I mean, the Dragon going over T1 means pretty close to having that potential soul. So Quantum Freaks won't have too much time, really, to scale up. And they're already 4,000 gold down, so in a bit of a rough position. We've seen the Aatrox pick up a Black Cleaver. He's very strong. It's concerning. I think the problem is, right, T1 put the Herald down mid. Oh, they're looking for Faker here.
Yeah, this is...
Welcome back.
Faker, he is going to be... Welcome back. It's a lot of R damage, and he's nearly taken out entirely by that. But we do have the follow-up from T1 trying to save him as Bulldog will not go down, actually. Lives just barely under that turret. Well, we spoke too early as Guma just going to... never mind. He's going to hit him with the backside of that W, it looks like.
That looked weird.
And now Andal is going to go down. So Dudu, meanwhile, had teleported to the bottom lane, and Taeyun was mid the entire time.
Yeah, make the call. You know what? We don't even want Baron. Let's just go bot, get a tower, mid, get a tower.
Baron Schmaron!
You know, I think that's an exact quote of what he would have said in comms. And at least they're trading something for that play, but still a devastating hit towards Quantum Freak's chances in this game, with T1 getting that fight and the Baron. And you know, they look for the pick on a Faker, but it just takes too long. Andal has kind of been off this game with those dredge lines. I think waits a little bit too long. Faker survives a bit, but realistically it's this flank coming in onto Bulldog, who just gets chunked immediately. And then, what damage do you have left in this fight? You have 2 tanks.
Take a look at this. What is that hitbox?
Yeah, that
like came out of the wall. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I feel like Bulldogs did such a good job of avoiding everything, and then he just got zeried.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's coded that Zeri will get kills. So regardless of hitbox, it will happen, they say. And Gumas will enjoy a 3rd kill.
Bulldog went with Rylai's? Is that the build?
Well,
I feel like personally I'd want a more damage item, like maybe either Shadow Flame or Void Staff in this situation. You know, I think if I look at your composition and think, what is this team lacking? It's not crowd control. it's definitely not crowd control.
Yeah, no. Well, speaking of which, they are just going to try to burst down Faker here. Gets incredibly low as the Xerath ultimate will be layered, but not quite hitting the target somehow. Hunter gets back in there. Youngjae in a bit of trouble, and Aatrox is here, and he will take over this game whether you like it or not, as will the Zeri, as they just shred through everybody. T1 way too far ahead. That is the ace, and it might just be the game at this point. With the Baron buff, they're going to try to push into this bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the game plan of Quantum Freaks is kill Faker, and then they achieve that goal, and they're like, okay, where do we go from here? They didn't think they'd get this far, and T1, the rest of the team, just absolutely decimate them in return.
Yeah, and
not much they can do.
I think some close health bars, but or death timers rather, they're still going to go for it. We got a TP in here, 23.5 minutes, and with Baron buff, T1 have enough to push into the base and take game 1 in dominating fashion.
Absurd.
He got very fed, and as the space did point out, there were some mistakes that allowed it, but it was just, again, it was just like another launching platform for the Aatrox to ascend even further. So will there be any focus in the draft? We do know that the Quantum Freaks and CV Max a little bit stubborn in the drafting, saying, well, guys, play it better this time. So
do it the same, but better.
We'd like some focus on the Aatrox. Just ban it away. You picked red side. I'm not sure why, but if you're going to, ban Aatrox.
Okay. It's going very similarly to last draft.
Please?
No, they did first pick it last time. I think they'll do it again.
Same
okay,
ban so far.
Bans. This is the one, right? You can switch the Nico ban to the Aatrox right here, and everything will be different. Oh. Yeah, well, you got what you wanted.
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah, actually, I've got some notes here. Could we have expected this? Oh, this is a game 1 draft where the exact same thing. I guess they're just running it back.
Yeah, just play it better. But
just don't die a single time to Aatrox.
Yeah. Just play it perfectly so that Zeus can do nothing in the game, and you should be in a fine spot.
Yeah, Duty took too many tower shots. That was the problem. You know,
that must be it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Now, jokes aside, Quantum Freak's execution, it wasn't perfect, right? It was pretty far away from perfect. So, you know, as Wolf was saying on the space, and this time they're even going to
I think
prioritize the Xerath and not pick the Kai'Sa.
The theory behind it is if they leave the Xerath, it'll definitely get banned. I mean, the Kai'Sa will probably get banned here, but if they're so focused on making this composition with the lockdown plus Xerath working, you probably just have to take the Xerath here. Now, we saw one example of the Xerath kind of working, and that was kind of it.
Why are you banning Nautilus then? That was one of the key pieces to make the Xerath work.
Look, I don't have the answers, man.
Yeah, me neither. I've been casting these drafts for many, many years.
But yeah, because
I
even
still
like
don't have the answers.
It's interesting as well that T1 ban Rakan themselves. I mean, that's probably a response to the Nautilus, right? Which makes more sense. They don't ban the Xayah this time, though. Interesting.
Yeah. What do they mean by this? Also, maybe they just pick up a Zeri for themselves and try to deny it away, but then you're leaving the Xayah available for Guma.
Yeah.
So, what exactly is the plan here? Do they pick the Xayah for what? Because it's strong? Doesn't go very well with your comp. Viego.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're thinking that... I mean, I'm not sure how. I guess the Viego would make sense because it felt like they were getting that initial kill but didn't have the follow-through in the fight. So maybe T1 thinking Viego would be good adaptation, so after you get that first kill, you have the momentum in the fights. That kind of makes sense to me. And also maybe the plan from Quantum Freaks is to put that role support, given that they've been banning a lot of these supports out here. They will go for the Zeri this time. I think Guma can go, Kai'Sa or Xayah, both work. We'll see what he opts to go for in this situation.
Yeah. Another thing we have been seeing a little bit is trying to go for kill lanes with Lucian. Lucian Braum was the worst version of that. But, yeah, you can just pick the OP Kai'Sa. Going to pick up the Alistar this time. And Kai'Sa Alistar will be the lane, trying to target out what seems to be just a Rel in general, but also could be in the bottom lane.
Does this force Quantum Freaks to put the Rel in the jungle? I honestly think like the lane matchup between Alistar and Rel isn't actually that bad. I think it's definitely playable.
Uh-oh, we got smiles.
Yeah, I think this makes Braum pretty good and Alistar pretty good into the composition T1 have. So favoring a better matchup in the bot lane in return for putting the Rel into the jungle, which I don't think Rel in the jungle was really the issue in last game. I don't know. I don't think draft was really the issue last game.
Not really, no.
Maybe that first pick T1 were able to have.
Again, yeah, that definitely is a sticking point. Everything else, I'm like, okay. I mean, I can kind of see where you're going with this, but yeah, giving over the Aatrox twice in a row.
Yeah, and also we saw Quantum Freaks kind of losing out in the poke wars because of the shock blast. Now there's a Kai'Sa as well. So, and on top of that, you have heavy AD solo lanes, like with a lot of damage output. So Gumayusi will be going the AP build.
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying. So now you have to dodge the Shock Blasts and the Void Seekers.
Yeah, I mean, as the game comes along, it kind of feels like T1 were given the Omega Exodia draft on 13-14. That's what I would say. They get Aatrox, but not only that, they get Maokai, Jace, and Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
And Alistair is like, he's quite good.
Yeah, I feel
still.
like...
I mean, he's good.
You know, it's early to call it because it's day one of... Savior's one of the patch. But maybe in like a few days, we'll look back at this draft and be like, how was that even possible?
I don't need a few days.
You ready to call it now?
I'm ready. Okay. I'm ready now. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a fair statement.
Maybe if they got Nautilus as well, that would make this like the best.
I think Alistair in the matchup's pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of positives. So I think from what you're saying, you're leaning towards T1 a bit on the draft. Just a tad, just a smidge.
Yep. Yeah. Let's hop on the rift for game number 2. I hope that is Bull Mom, actually. Because if it's not, I mean, I don't know. A lot of passion.
You know what? Any Quantum Freak fans watching, that's what you have to live up to. That's the standard that has been set. And it's pretty high. It's a pretty high bar. Oh, Bulldog, I think he landed the initial skill shot.
Yeah,
got that little bit of First Strike gold.
All right, let's go to game 3.
Money in the bank. I'm pretty sure he went Comet last game.
How much First Strike gold do you think he got?
5? Well, you get the 5 by standard, so maybe like 8? 7. 7. I'm going to say 7.
But it's rank 1 W, right? So...
Oh,
he did it again. 6. Yeah. 6 seems to be about right.
Yeah, you don't get much. This early in the game, you don't get much gold from like the percentage of the damage you deal. It's mostly like just rocking the 5 gold constantly.
Unless you're Annie.
True.
That's a different story. Anything interesting here? We do have Scorch once again. No futures market for Bulldog. Just pretty standard kind of Korean pro gamer stuff.
Yeah, I think the one issue I have here is that Quantum Freaks really need to be getting on top of the backline of T1 is super important, and it's going to be so much harder this game when you don't have so much engage and you don't have the Nautilus and the Rel, right? Braum obviously far more defensive in that regard, so...
But no, it's engage Braum with Qmax.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You should know this by now.
It hits me so much every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It is kind of interesting. I mean, you don't have to play extremely aggressive. It's not quite the same version of the draft from game 1. The adjustments kind of made it so that, okay, we do have some later game scaling and some ability to play just kind of front to back and protect the Zeri and Xerath with this composition. So if you're looking towards the positive aspects of what happened in this draft. I just think it's going to be really hard
because you'll set up to fight and you'll just get spammed with projectiles until you have to recoil. And then you won't really get to fight, you know. Assuming T1 play out in that manner. But I think something we can look for is maybe some early momentum on the back of like the Rel ganks are strong. We're seeing a repeat of that top match, but this time Dudu hasn't taken a tower hit yet. So
yeah,
that's an improvement.
It is. He's doing just fine.
He's learning.
It's level 3. And the mid lane going, you know, just about as well as it did in game 1.
Honestly, going better for Bulldog, I feel. More skill shots landing, it looks like, you know? This is nice. We get a repeat solo lane, so we can just very much analyze every second that goes by.
Yeah, every difference. As, okay, gonna hit the Q3, but Dudu is in behind.
He still has his W.
Is using the minions.
Wait, he still has his W and he didn't use it.
Yeah, it's not that strong of an ability, right?
He could have just walked up and powered W to Adam.
Yeah.
I'm not a top laner, you know.
True. You have some games of Renekton support, though, on your 5th ult. I saw them.
Oh, yeah. Gotta practice these things.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure you know the tech.
it's you know, it's a really good lockdown champ. It's all about those engaged supports nowadays.
Yep. Just CC them. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
I also feel like one thing is that we haven't really seen the impact of the Ghost nerf because everyone's been taking Cleanse because it's super high value, but it'll be interesting to see how that actually ends up impacting the meta, particularly for champions like Zeri, who can end up being like really reliant on it.
Yeah. I just feel like Cleanse is just really good in this case, so as you're mentioning.
Cleanse is really good.
It's very good in general. But
imagine if they just removed Cleanse, like how broken Leon
and Blast Plants. That way we could actually get action in the game again.
You're pitching it still.
I remember when, you know, stuff used to happen in my League of Legends. Back in my day.
Old man shakes fist at Cloud.
Yep.
See, that one pretty good because this time you used his W. So
that helps, yeah, it does. You definitely want to use that when you're trading.
That's the difference maker in this situation.
This time, Faker did not have enough to go for Merc Treads and a tier, so just Merc Treads, a longsword, and a tier.
Yeah, and Bulldog's got an early reset off, but didn't get the Lost Chapter, but still has his TP up and available. So if you can trade heavily, get the reset in, and then TP back the Lost Chapter, be pretty good. We do see Owner spotted an award here. Could we get a 3v3? Bulldog has ult, by the way, already.
We definitely could. Trying to get in onto the Maokai, but the crash down not going to land. Does poke him with the spear, but trees don't generally care about that. So,
yeah, you need an axe on a tree. I think, you know, just poking it with a spear won't. Sap will come out, and that's about it.
Yeah, maybe. You have to poke it really hard.
Yeah. Not the best engage.
Oh, okay, Carrier gonna get Taeyoon back in. That camera work was also pristine. Taeyoon in a lot of trouble, used both summoners and still was not able to get away. As now Owner looking for one more Twisted Advance, probably will have enough, but the Pulverize is enough. Carrier does take a third shot, but it doesn't matter. It's 2 kills for the T1 bottom side of the map, when in fact Owner picked up both kills.
Yeah, really solid engage, and the fact that Taeyoon and Andal were on top of each other means you get the double Pulverize. Oh, Faker went in 1v2.
Yeah, trying to make a statement. Says
this is the last game.
This game is about me.
Yeah. He sees those 2 kills picked up in the bot lane. He's like, no, I need the POG. I need to make things happen.
This is my return to League of Legends, not Guma Carrion Owner.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's establishing himself.
Yeah.
Re-establishing himself.
Interesting angle to go for that. As you did mention, teleport advantage to Bulldog. It's not as punishing as a top lane, but it's still definitely a big thing. And Bulldog is going to be able to just take that trade and take Faker's flash and then just teleport back to lane.
Nice. Gotta see some Maokai clearing.
Yeah. I'm glad we get a little bit of this in the game, yeah.
Just like a little segue before we go to the replay. But yeah, really nice from Carrier. Make sure you can get both of them in this situation so that Andal can't help out and defend. Andal also shielding, I would say, a suboptimal direction is how I describe it. And then the cooldowns come back up to get the follow-up kill, so really nicely played by Carrier there. And because he got the Q flash and then headbutted Taeyoon back, there was just no way you could escape. I think if you went for a combo there, then definitely a chance that Taeyoon gets out. And Carrier is just, he's really sending a message here.
You know, the space they were talking about, all that mid-pressure that was coming in, it doesn't feel like the mid-pressure is really what allowed him to go for that play.
Yeah.
But certainly Carrier is looking much better here in this series so far.
Faker said, Carrier all in now. And then he did it, right?
I see.
If Faker wasn't there, then that play couldn't have happened.
I get it. All right.
Yeah. It's called shot calling. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Well, apparently they haven't for a while, but things are going well. And, yeah, I mean, as was also mentioned, Quantum Freak's on a very large losing streak. I think it's 8 games in a row and 8 matches, I should say.
I think I said earlier that they were like 4-2 and they started losing. They were 4-4.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty good.
It's still quite good.
What they are now.
Well, 8 losses in a row will do that. And here comes Carrier. Now he's level 6 with Moby Boots, so he is ready to party.
He is. Oh, he's going for the big flank.
He is so fast, like he could just sprint at them in the top side, so you know what? Young Jay and Dudu, they just walk away. They're like, well...
Hey, look, there's 2 level 6 supports, except Young Jay's not a support. He's a jungler.
Oh.
He's the same level as Carrier.
Support champion.
Support champion, true. Every champion's a support champion when you think hard enough about it.
Even Renekton.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, at this point, T1, they haven't taken that Drake on the bottom side with the advantage they got. They probably just backed, but instead they just group up. They get Carrier up in the top side, level 6, able to secure a Rift Herald for free. And we'll see if they can get both objectives from here, as I don't think they're really in a position to take this Drake Quantum Freaks from here.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go. The Nature's Grasp as Dudu doesn't even find a way out of that one. Doesn't even elect to flash until he gets under the turret, as does do a nice combo here onto the tree, but it doesn't matter as that sword is quite long. Zayas is going to use it to cut down the Croc.
Yeah, and so you know how last game, Quantum Freaks got the edge in top lane, and then T1 countered. This is like that, except they didn't get the initial edge.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's just gone worse. And now Zayas he's hit the, kind of the, I think from what I've assessed of the new Aatrox, if you get 1 kill, you just win the game. That's what we saw in the last game. So he's ticked that box.
He definitely has, and it's been mostly free lane, as another engage is going to come in here onto Taeyun. Taeyun just kind of shrugs that one off.
Yeah, a lot of confidence not to go for the flash. Bit of unfortunate timing from Carrier on the dash, but Taeyun playing with fire on that one.
Faker low on mana here, just going to back away. They were trying to set up for a play, as now we are proxying waves once again as Supercharge comes in, but Gumiusi still on the run, does have to flash as Ondel just make his way in with the engaged Braum, trying to set it up. And that was their one opportunity, because now Carrier is looking for the flank.
Yeah, and Onus here as well.
X-Flash on cooldown, he's trying to get that one back up. Owner biding his time. There's no vision over here for Quantum Freaks' bottom lane, as they're just going to call it off. They say, well, we can just get this Drake instead. There's no mid laner right now.
Yeah, I mean, Bulldog did recall then, but I think it's kind of a good call because...
Oh, okay, well.
I think diving a Braum, risky. Especially if Bulldog is in range to ult. Could very quickly go badly. So they'll just take the dragon, satisfied with that one. And Young Jay not really having much impact this game, especially compared to Owner. Trying to find a window into the bot lane here. And you need to start making something happen for Quantum Freaks.
Baker's really trying to put on that pressure. And that is, again, the one thing that he really has been able to do in the games has been put on the mid pressure. That's what you want out of this chase, especially when your opponent picks Xerath. And unfortunately is kind of losing the poke trades. The Rift Herald will be dropped in, takes out a couple of plates. Looks like all that gold did go over to Owner, though.
So he can fuel his sapling damage build.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably
Hey, Leandri's next. Right?
Probably not, sadly. Well, actually, probably for the best, to be honest, but yeah. I think T1 already have a lot of these towers pretty low across the map. Mid's already pretty chunked out. A lot of damage done top, so I think honestly they can just be pretty proactive in making plays and looking towards his Herald in 2 minutes 20. Carrier with those Mobies is kind of unleashed from bot lane. With the Shiv already picked up for Guma, very easy for him to wave clear and just play pretty independently even without flash, so Carrier can just go where he pleases.
Yeah.
He's unleashed. He's out the pen.
Where he pleases is mid lane currently. Just hanging out, being a force on the map. It's really what you want to do with a lead like this. Is Kai'Sa will be fine. Just let her clear waves and press her auto Q over and over and over again. Now we do have Young Jay. He's still really trying to set this one up. Let's see if Guma sniffs this one out. He does have Carrier down here for now, but not a lot of vision.
Don't walk up, don't walk up, don't walk up!
Yeah, there it is. Magna Storm comes down. The engaged Braum is in, but unfortunately, Braum is not very good at engaging, as the stun will get down onto Carrier, who will sacrifice himself in trade for that. So a nice setup here by the Quantum Freaks.
Yeah, really solid play. Oh, looking for a bit more though. Faker's moved down, and Andal takes a lot of damage. QMax Braum didn't have his E available, so he wasn't able to block that.
Yeah.
But still a positive play from Quantum Freaks. It kind of felt like the game was slipping away from them As much as they don't get Gumayusi, yeah, they get a couple of plates, they get a kill onto the Zeri. All positive things. And now they're resetting, and a minute till Herald means we'll likely see both teams start to move members up to the top side of the map.
It's looking like it. Zeus keeps on engaging, or invading, rather.
Yeah, it's just, again, if this was like another champ, it'd be a lot easier to layer the CC into Gumayusi, but he gets a flash out. They do make it very hard for the Alistar to play the game, because even with the ultimate, you're just going to get slowed and stunned constantly by the Braum, so they at least got something out of that one, even though they don't get the 2 kills they'd probably hope for.
Zeus just gliding around the mid lane. Looks like he's going to glide his way down to the bottom lane. So with his teleport, he's going to get in position to match his top laner. And Quantum Freaks, I know every team loves to fight over second Rift Heralds nowadays. It gives you a lot of pressure on the Drakes at a very critical time in the game generally. But I'm not sure if they're ready to fight this one.
Well, do you know what's the only way to find out? By fighting it.
When they fight in this game, yes, I do agree. Let's see if they do.
Yeah.
Certainly.
They are posturing for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course they are. Why do we even ask?
I don't know. Well, we do know that they are setting up for this one. We do have kind of a broken up Quantum Freaks. That Shock Blast is going to go wide. Faker has taken a bunch of damage. That's the objective given over to T1 already. As Owner, not super tanky at this point. You do see the flank from Aatrox. Zeus has a little bit of a target on Bulldog's back, but the rest of the team just going to take out Owner, as that one was not very clean from T1. But they do get the Rift Herald, as Quantum Freaks will take down the T1 jungler.
They get the Herald, which is the important thing. It was kind of a weird setup, because Quantum Freaks actually had better positioning for the fight, but also Taeyun was kind of just like hitting Herald so that Owner could smite it, which was a bit of a weird one.
Just helping out, you know.
Yeah, assisting T1 with their secure, but regardless, Quantum Freaks get a kill, but T1 get the bigger prize in the Herald. We can see the replay coming out here. So yeah, Taeyun just keeps hitting the Herald, even though their jungle is nowhere near. And he keeps hitting the eye as well, specifically. And then here, the thing is, Zeus is so far away, and he does find this flank onto Bulldog with a stun, blocks him, and it's only the tanks left in the mix. Like, Faker and Guma had to back away, so it was a very split and disjointed fight from T1. And I think because Zeus got stopped on his flank, he couldn't come into pincer, and it really meant that Quantum Freaks could enact their plan sooner. Yeah,
definitely a bit of a weird one.
I think the main thing is that we kind of talked about this in the last game, but T1's comp wants to be on the objective first, and it felt like they gave way too much space over to Quantum Freaks.
Yeah, and a nice little wrap around both sides, but Zeus kind of removing himself from the fight. As now, speaking of being on an objective, Taeyun going to take out this control ward. And we do have a play for this Hextech Drake.
I just saw the nerfs in action. So Gumayusi autoed the wave, and it didn't kill the casters, and he had to press Q after that to kill the entire wave.
Oh no.
It's such a nerf, such a hit.
Not his Q.
I feel bad for him, you know. He has to suffer.
Yeah. Like the rest of the champions.
Yeah.
It's for the best. Well, let's see this. I mean, Quantum Freaks are going to be on this objective first, and they will start it up. They got Control Ward in the pit, a great setup. We do have a nice little flank angle here from Zeus, but it will be matched by Dudu, who's going to mark his target for now. The damage already coming in from the Aatrox and Nature's Grasp is big. They get onto the backline, and immediately the Xerath is just gone. Who could have seen this coming? As Taeyun does have a nice position, but he's alone. It's a triple kill for the Kai'Sa, and Faker will pick up one. Perhaps a couple media votes on his way out, as that will be 2-1, smashing the Drake fight.
They just annihilate them, and this is a problem. It's so hard to protect this Xerath, and as soon as he goes down, like the rest of the comp just crumbled around it. Taeyun did get a chance to ramp up, and just decimation in that close clump there. T1 finding a beautiful engage, will get the dragon, and are now 5,000 gold in the lead, and picking up towers across the map. Looks like they might be breaking that lose streak.
Yeah, it's looking pretty likely. I mean, as you mentioned, a couple of angles, Nature's Grasp. Xerath just useless in this fight.
Obliterated. Yeah. And then a beautiful knockback from Faker to interrupt the dash.
Yeah, like I said,
you
gotta get those media votes in early.
Oh yeah.
In the game, just to make sure. We'll see. But yeah, kind of. You know, if you're gonna fight something like that, you need to know that you have your flanks marked, and you can't just let
and also the ult
free
from
entry
Ona,
from T1.
No one blocked it for Bulldog. You know, so he got rooted and then he was just dead. Because the thing is, because he got rooted, Kai'Sa could ult in, and it's just guaranteed that the Aatrox can get on top of you and land all the Qs. 6,000 gold lead in 19 minutes.
Yeah, no Baron yet.
So we thought in game 1, I thought maybe leaving the Aatrox open was a mistake, and then in game 2. They had to make it very clear that it was a mistake. So now we all know. Although, to be honest, you know, I'm saying that. I don't think Aatrox was really the issue there.
No, I mean...
But maybe Xerath, they can give it a rest. This is the 3rd time. It's looking like it's going to be 0-3.
Zave's trying to put on the pressure. Here's the Xerath gank coming in from the bottom lane.
Run, Bulldog!
Oh, no. Oh, wait! Okay, he's going to flash away. He should be fine. As the W.
Never mind, Xerath's
take him
broken.
down. Xerath absolutely broken.
Hey.
Also, free Baron given over to T1, although they do elect to not go for it, as TPs are available from Bongnome Freaks.
Yeah, well, I just saw Xerath kill Aatrox, therefore Xerath over Aatrox.
He's going Rylai's again.
Oh, God. Is he just like allergic to doing damage?
You know, that used to be the old build, right? When they did interact with each other. Leandri's, Rylai's.
I think it's just like you're like, I mean, I guess it's a little bit AP from Taeyun, but like you could just be doing so much damage here.
Yeah. You could be trying to dunk as hard as possible on the Kai'Sa and even the Jace, who's not going to have a lot of resistances.
Yeah, and also Xerath has really high base damages, so you get a lot of value from like a Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He'll be slowing him up. Here we do have the T1 Baron. It is being taken at 21 minutes. They spot young Jace, so Nature's Grasp just gets him out. It's a free Baron. Keria gets in the back line and delivers a free Zeri over to the enemy team. That's going to be the end of him. And maybe the end of this game, guys, is into the back line. Bulldog, that's a nice little shield from Anvil, but a flash will make it irrelevant, as that will be 4 kills over to the side of T1, as they will look to push top and mid.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to get the Baron. They don't do it immediately when there's members. Congratulations to Guma. Yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa always a good one, pick up multiple kills. I feel like in that situation, they don't do the Baron immediately when they see 2 members bot. As you mentioned, the TPs were up. They simply wait for Zeus to respawn so he can be on a beautiful TP flank. And Quantum Freaks try to push up. The Maokai being piloted beautifully by Ona uses the ult to ensure that Young Jay can't get in. And then they just capitalize. Very smooth sailing. Honestly, this game has felt super one-sided. And we can see here, like, the owner ult stops Young Jay from getting in. And how is Bulldog supposed to position here? Like, he ults, and it just kind of guarantees that Zeus is going to be able to run him down.
Yeah, and you've got an Alistar in your backline, and then even behind the Alistar is the Aatrox in your backline. And eventually, I mean, again, we can talk about the draft all we want, and it was a huge gap to the side of T1 in favor of them, and they're using it very nicely. They're engaging onto that squishy backline. There's not really any protection here for Quantum Freaks. Braum is not going to do anything. And yeah, I mean, the game is essentially over. T1 not really being tested, I feel like, in their first series with Faker back, but I think, as you mentioned, nice little win to catapult off and kind of get some momentum.
This team needs to rebuild, right? If we're going to be real, in terms of like the confidence, the momentum. This T1's been going through a rough spot. Oh, Engage comes in.
Yeah, they're trying to go for this one again, but the Maokai and the Jace coming together to get some huge damage down. Guys, this is so over. Like, it's 11,000 gold right now, 23 minutes into the game. T1 looks like they're just going to end it here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything that Quantum Freeze can do in this situation. The ult's going to come out. Gumisi dodges like all
yeah.
Consecutive hits not really coming in there.
And neither is Dudu. He's going to go down as, yep, that's going to be the end of it. Flashing on top
Where does Zeri go?
Taeyun, he just disappears as Faker will pick up another media vote on his way out. We are done here, 2-0.